It isn't what we say or think that defines us, but what we do. Indulge your imagination in every possible flight. Nobody minds having what is too good for them. We have all a better guide in ourselves, if we would attend to it, than any other person can be. Selfishness must always be forgiven, you know, because there is no hope of a cure. Vanity working on a weak head produces every sort of mischief. Happiness in marriage is entirely a matter of chance. The person, be it gentleman or lady, who has not pleasure in a good novel, must be intolerably stupid. One half of the world cannot understand the pleasures of the other. Let me know when you begin the new tea, and the new white wine. My present elegances have not yet made me indifferent to such matters. I am still a cat if I see a mouse. There is safety in reserve, but no attraction. One cannot love a reserved person. Nothing ever fatigues me but doing what I do not like. For what do we live, but to make sport for our neighbors, and laugh at them in our turn? Without music, life would be a blank to me. There are people, who the more you do for them, the less they will do for themselves. One man's style must not be the rule of another's. It is very difficult for the prosperous to be humble. I do not want people to be very agreeable, as it saves me the trouble of liking them a great deal. There is nothing I would not do for those who are really my friends. I have no notion of loving people by halves, it is not my nature. If I loved you less, I might be able to talk about it more. There are as many forms of love as there are moments in time. Angry people are not always wise. But people themselves alter so much, that there is something new to be observed in them forever. The distance is nothing when one has motive. Do anything rather than marry without affection. What are young men to rocks and mountains? She was convinced that she could have been happy with him, when it was no longer likely they should meet. Till this moment I never knew myself. My good opinion once lost, is lost forever. A lady's imagination is very rapid, it jumps from admiration to love, from love to matrimony in a moment. Ah! There is nothing like staying at home, for real comfort. Friendship is certainly the finest balm for the pangs of disappointed love. When I fall in love, it will be forever. Give a girl an education and introduce her properly into the world, and 10 to 1, but she has the means of settling well, without further expense to anybody. I always always deserve the best treatment because I never put up with any other. We all know him to be a proud, unpleasant sort of man, but this would be nothing if you really liked him. A girl likes to be crossed a little in love now and then. It is something to think of. We are all fools in love. Seldom, very seldom, does complete truth belong to any human disclosure. Seldom can it happen that something is not a little disguised or a little mistaken. Our scars make us know that our past was for real. Run mad as often as you choose, but do not faint. Know your own happiness. You want nothing but patience, or give it a more fascinating name, call it hope. Nobody can tell what I suffer. But it is always so. Those who do not complain are never pitied. Stupid men are the only ones worth knowing after all. There is a stubbornness about me that never can bear to be frightened at the will of others. My courage always rises at every attempt to intimidate me. It is a truth universally acknowledged, that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. Better be without sense than misapply it as you do. Time will explain. There could have been no two hearts so open, no tastes so similar, no feelings so in unison. Why not seize pleasure at once? How often is happiness destroyed by preparation, foolish preparation? Think only of the past as its remembrance gives you pleasure. The more I know of the world, the more I am convinced that I shall never see a man whom I can really love. I require so much. I do not think I ever opened a book in my life which had not something to say upon woman's inconstancy. Songs and proverbs all talk of woman's fickleness. But perhaps you will say, these were all written by men. It is not time or opportunity that is to determine intimacy, it is disposition alone. 7 years would be insufficient to make some people acquainted with each other, and 7 days are more than enough for others. It is particularly incumbent on those who never change their opinion, to be secure of judging properly at first. Could there be finer symptoms? Is not general incivility the very essence of love? Where people are really attached, poverty itself is wealth. If I could but know his heart, everything would become easy. If adventures will not befall a young lady in her own village, she must seek them abroad. I cannot help thinking that it is more natural to have flowers grow out of the head than fruit. There is no charm equal to tenderness of heart. If one scheme of happiness fails, human nature turns to another. If the first calculation is wrong, we make a second better, we find comfort somewhere. I wish, as well as everybody else, to be perfectly happy, but, like everybody else, it must be in my own way. Single women have a dreadful propensity for being poor, which is one very strong argument in favor of matrimony. I am only resolved to act in that manner, which will, in my own opinion, constitute my happiness, without reference to you, or to any person so wholly unconnected with me.